Thanks for joining us on the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm Tasia Floissac. Coming up, the nation's leader announces plans for an economic council for Dominica. Dominica signs a $22 million contract with the European Union to commence roadworks on the east, and government receives $16 million in grant aid from China. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
DOWASCO recognizes that clean water is vital to healthy living. Therefore, it spares no effort in providing a clean, safe, and reliable system. Help keep our rivers safe and clean. Do not cut trees along the river banks, and do not pollute with garbage, human or animal feces, and chemicals. Think water, think life.
Thanks for staying with us. The government of Dominica has entered into arrangements with the European Union to rehabilitate roads on the east of Dominica. Friday saw the contract signing for a natural disasters remedial and mitigation measures infrastructure project funded under the 10th EDF-B envelope of the European Union. $22 million have been allocated under that project to rehabilitate roads in the Bois Diable to Point Milat area, which suffered damage in 2011. The Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says this is the realization of negotiations with the European Union since then.
This project dates back to 2011, when the government initiated discussions with the European Union on efforts to minimize the anxiety and the exposure of residents in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Ophelia in particular, but also in a period of heightened interest by developing states in complexities associated with global warming. I know it is customary on occasions such as this to express thanks and appreciation to agencies like the European Union, but I wish to make clear this morning that my expression of thanks is in no way a cliche. As Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, I am truly grateful for the Energizer style and Duracell spirit of the ever-ready European Union to assist, however it can, in enhancing the quality of life of the people of Dominica.
The Honorable Minister for Public Works and Ports, Ian Pinard, outlined what the works will entail.
The construction of retaining walls, slope stabilization, construction of culvert crossing, realignment of short road sections, repair to major culvert road crossing at Boedica to include the construction of new inlet and outlet structures, construction of road crossing at Baron, rehabilitation of the Taberry Bridge, and the rehabilitation of the White River Bridge. And the meaning of the project is to build resilience into rehabilitated infrastructure. Simply put, we want those structures to have ultimate capacity to deal with effects of climate change.
Contracts were signed between the National Authorizing Officer for the European Development Fund on behalf of the government of Dominica and contractor for the project, Emil Garakan Efis. GIS will bring you more from the signing ceremony in a subsequent newscast. The government of Dominica has received grant aid from the government of the People's Republic of China to the tune of $16 million. The announcement came Friday morning when the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit met with Counselor of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, Wang Zhaofeng. The two signed an economic and technical cooperation agreement between the two countries for a number of projects to be agreed upon by the two countries in the coming weeks.
We are very glad to see over the past 10 years, based on the principle of mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit, the friendly cooperation between our two countries has made fruitful achievements and brought tangible benefits to our two countries and our two peoples.
The Honorable Prime Minister says Dominica will continue to regard China's One China policy.
We have always been able to rely on the commitment of China's support to Dominica, not only on bilateral relations, but on multilateral issues. And Excellency, please convey to your government our gratitude, because notwithstanding the fact that you are the second largest economy in the world, you too have your own challenges domestically. China has poverty. There are infrastructural challenges in many provinces in China. But because of the friendship which exists, and because China sees itself as having a role to play in the economic and social development of countries like Dominica, China continues to lend a helping hand to our country.
The People's Republic of China will also fund a number of projects to come on stream in 2015. The nation's Honorable Finance Minister, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, has also announced plans for the formation of an Economic Council for Dominica. Honorable Skerrit sees this move as useful in the move towards full sustainability for the country.
A sustainable future is not possible in the absence of economic prosperity. The pursuit of economic growth is therefore paramount. The focus of government on improving physical infrastructure is the recognition that good physical infrastructure is a necessary condition for investment and economic activity. We will therefore continue our relentless efforts in improving roads, bridges, sea and river defenses, storm drains, and the construction of critical public infrastructure such as air and seaports, schools, hospitals, and sporting facilities. I also wish to make this public announcement that very soon the government will be appointing an economic council that will serve as a policy advisory group to the government of Dominica.
He was speaking at the 8 Bank's 22nd Annual General Meeting on Wednesday. In more news, besides $26.92 million in approved loans for the financial year, which ended June 2014, the Aid Bank is also reporting a record increase in its portfolio. Chairman of the board, Martin Charles, reported on the bank's performance for the past financial year at the Aid Bank's 22nd Annual General Meeting on Wednesday.
The portfolio size increased to $159.99 million as of June 30th, 2014, from $115 million as of June 30th, 2010. The portfolio quality improved with non-performing ratio, which declined from 18.66% in June 2010 to 10.72% in June 2014. The bank mobilized $107 million from local, regional, and international lenders during the planned period, compared to $10 million in the previous 5 years.
The bank approved 8.9% more loans for the 2014 financial year than in the previous year. It also realized $1.1 million in profits and an almost 3% decline in non-performing loans. Caribbean islands are receiving significant notice in the creative industry, hence harnessing and protecting these trades within the region is critical. This is according to Sonia Cruikshank, Senior Program Officer at the World Intellectual Property Organization. Cruikshank was addressing the attendees of a national copyright seminar on Wednesday.
We have the creativity and we need to figure out ways to take what we have and use it to our benefit, primarily when we consider how many of our jurisdictions are facing tremendous economic burdens.
The two-day seminar, which ends tomorrow, focuses on the nature of copyright and related rights in Dominica, and enforcement of copyright, among others. Cruikshank notes that knowledge of copyright by the creating artist is integral in moving forward.
We at WIPO, even though we are treated as Cinderella's sister, we do believe that copyright provides that economic advantage, but we need first to understand how the system functions so that we can know how to take advantage of it. And the idea with this seminar or workshop requested by Sandra is to provide the framework, to provide the basis. It's not an easy subject matter, but this is the first step.
The Honorable Minister for National Security, Reuben Blackmore, revealed that the government of Dominica has enacted a company and intellectual property office to further assist the public.
In addition to the establishment and enactment, of the Copyright Act, we have been able to set up the Company and Intellectual Property Office, which has been headed by Ms. Julian, charged with the responsibility of administering and registering industrial properties, among others.
A difficult global financial climate has forced Dominica's main development bank, the Aid Bank, to implement necessary changes to not only keep up with the times, but to grow as well. That revelation was made on Wednesday by Chairman Martin Charles at the bank's 22nd annual general meeting.
Investments in education are particularly important to addressing the challenges of increasing competitiveness and growth potential. Exploration for geothermal energy and a climate change policy demonstrates a commitment to sustainable use of natural resources and to enhance our competitive advantage for business development. These are also a few among the other ongoing efforts to improve the business and regulatory environment. The country is also making progress in tackling the challenge of advancing fiscal consolidation whilst preserving economic growth.
Those measures are in addition to others employed by the government of Dominica in the best interest of the nation. Martin added that the bank has taken seriously its role to support government's moves to stimulate a more friendly investment landscape.
The Aid Bank plays an important role in supporting government's growth initiatives. It represents government's active partnership with the private sector in making investments which have the capacity to stimulate economic growth.
Lamar Irish, aka the Irish Kid of the St. John's Academy, has retained the Junior Calypso Monarch title. On Thursday, Irish outperformed 9 other competitors with his rendition Role Model. Newcomer to the competition, Tatiana Tatidi Dangaben of the Convent High School placed first runner-up with her song entitled Know Your Friends. Second place was awarded to Nia Nika Burnett of the Wesley High School, who sang What Is Your Legacy? While Nikima the Empress Alfred of the St. Martin's Secondary School placed third with Living in I World. The other competitors were Roy Alcender of the Mont Jean Primary School, Shemaya DJ Maya Dover John of the Convent High, Daniel D. Ali Shillingford of the Convent Preparatory School, Kiana Lady K. Sentile of the St. Martin Secondary School, Loic Mighty Shanti Maroney of the St. John's Primary, and Tyreek D. Presser Stewart of the Pearchas Secondary School. The competition is organized annually by the Leo Club of Dominica. Also this news time, the call to the public to use water wisely is one that cannot be overemphasized. At a recent interview with GIS News, General Manager of the Dominica Water and Sewage Company, Bernard Etinoff, took the opportunity to reiterate the need for all Dominicans to conserve water.
Our message to the public will continue to be to conserve water. Use it wisely. It is provided for your use. And we expect you to use it, but to use it wisely.
He says those who are metered usually waste less water. Still, he appealed to consumers with or without a meter to use the resource more efficiently at home. He revealed that although it is a costly venture, soon all unmetered consumers on the island will receive a meter. The DOASCO manager is also encouraging the public to look out for and report any misuse of water.
We want to ask the public to report any leaks they might see, any damage they might see to pipelines, be it malicious or otherwise. There are times vehicles damage pipelines or fire hydrants and so forth. Not intentional. I mean, even the drivers themselves, there's nothing wrong in calling the WASCO and say, look, you know, this pipeline has been damaged and so on. we would mobilize to have it repaired as quickly as possible, because a broken line means somebody's going to go without water, a community is going to go without water for some time. So those are critical things. As I say, the issue of water conservation and water protection is something that involves everybody. You see somebody felling trees or cutting trees then around a water source. I mean, your first approach would be to maybe talk to the person, but if you feel you cannot do that, call the WASCO, alert the forestry division, alert the police, alert somebody that something is going on that should not be happening.
Etinoff also has this message for those who continue to misuse public standpipes.
Standpipes were placed there for persons who are underprivileged, who cannot afford a water connection to their homes, the poor, the elderly, those persons. Yet what we see is that hoses are attached to standpipes to wash cars. I mean, that is wrong. It's a violation under the law. Persons bathe under standpipes, persons clean fish and wash clothes and do all of those things under standpipes. We want to appeal to the consciences of these people and say to them that these are not things that we should engage in under standpipes. There's a purpose for which they were placed for, and let us try to adhere to that best we can. Fire hydrants were placed for the use of the fire services, yet we see people use hydrants illegally with no permission from the WASCO. Again, to wash cars, to have things like wet fit and things like that.
He says for occasional recreational purposes, permission to use fire hydrants and standpipes must be sought from the WASCO. All these measures, Etinoff assures, will contribute to water sustainability on the island. And that's the English news. McPherson Sent News is next with the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins, c'est McPherson St. Louis. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique a recevé un grant $16 millions US hors People's Republic of China. Ça, c'est l'argent Dominique pas pour payer. Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skirt a recevé l'argent là à ce compte gouvernement Dominique bon matin là. Présentation pour te recevoir l'argent là pour place pendant une cérémonie en l'office cabinet. Selon Honorable Skirt, l'argent là qui est dépensé pour divers projets de développement pays là.
Mais je dis là, nous signons un agrément et puis gouvernement Chine qui a coûté 16 millions dollars américains. Ça que nous servons ça pour projet en pays Dominique. Ça c'est un cadeau au gouvernement chinois là. Comme ça nous avons une bonne relation et puis China. Depuis 10 ans qui passent, là nous signé un agrément pour établir une relation entre ces deux pays, la Dominique et puis China. So, quand on regarde l'année qui passe, nous avons tapé plusieurs projets et puis on a l'argent en China. Stadium là, l'école, chemin, pour agriculture, pour santé. Et puis nous avons commencé l'hôpital là, l'année ça là. Il y a un pont là, il y a un clacol, la grosse cholaye. Voilà, c'est Chino là qui bâtit un pont. Là, des voitures ça passe et puis les gens marché à un pont là tout ensemble. Ça aussi c'est un cadeau au gouvernement China. Et puis quand nous parlons de l'école Newtown, l'école Neuf qui a bâti à présent. Et puis l'argent au China. So plusieurs bêtises qu'a fait puis China qui a aidé nous et puis ça nous qui a bâti maison qui a bâti pour mon constituency Castle Bruce San Sauveur et puis plus de souffrir qui bénéficie de ce qui a bâti et puis ça c'est aussi un cadeau au China. So plusieurs bêtises China qui a assisté nous et puis so agrément ça là c'est un agrément nouveau, un nouveau agrément. China qui a 16 millions dollars américains pour assister nous et puis développement Dominique.
D'autres nouvelles, une équipe docteur cubaine qui a un service médical pour citoyens Kalinago samedi. Parole celle-là, sorti de Parlement, honorable Cassius Darrow.
De temps qui passe, nous avons une discussion avec l'ambassadeur de Cuba. Nous avons discuté pour affaires santé. Nous avons décidé de mettre un petit team ensemble pour nous savoir qui manière nous avons assisté le peuple Kalinago territory avec Salibia constituency en général. So, demain samedi, nous avons 9 docteurs qui ont monté. Ils ont traîné différents aspects en santé. Nous avons pathologistes, nous avons gastroenterologistes, ça c'est pas moi qui peux pas bien dire non. Et puis, de trois autres docteurs qui ont monté pour faire service available pour peuple Kalinago, basically pour free. C'est une bonne relation que nous avons développée avec Cuban ambassadeur en Dominique, avec Cuban embassy. Et nous avons pensé que nous allons continuer avec tous ces autres mondes qui sont en Dominique pour qui manière nous ça développer et faire la vie plus meilleure pour le peuple Kalinago avec Atkinson and Chisel.
En autre nouvelle, ça fait copyright très important pour l'économie. Parole celle-là sorti de facilitateur en workshop copyright qui culmine en Dominique semaine cela. Monsieur Mac Marie, c'était un de ces facilitateurs là.
C'est copyright qui a géré fait tout bail comme musique ni valet, livre ni valet, film ni valet. Tout ça, il y a l'autre monde qui a fait la vie à eux, qui a fait ces bails là ça. Aux États-Unis, ça c'est un de ces bails là qui est plus important. 11% en production aux États-Unis, c'est copyright. Ça veut dire des films, livres, tout bail comme ça. Programme pour faire ordinateur marché. C'est copyright qui a géré ça. Si pas de copyright, à la musique, si pas de copyright, il va pas l'argent à musique. Vous pouvez faire musique sans copyright, mais vous ne pouvez pas faire l'argent à musique sans copyright. Vous ne pouvez pas faire l'argent et puis livre sans copyright. Parce que tout le monde quand copier le livre ou vendre et puis ou pas faire rien. C'est loi là qui a géré ça.
Et puis finalement, directeur communauté Marvin Walter, qui a fait parole qui équipement qui Dominique tapé pour ramasser data divers départements qui ont l'office CARICOM qui servent autant d'autres pays régions là tapé aussi. Walter fait parole cela sur le workshop secrétariat CARICOM chain en Dominique semaine cela qui a concerné CARICOM Single Market and Economy.
Et ce n'est pas nous, en tout Caribien là, CARICOM là, tout d'autres côtés qui fait même manœuvre là. C'est d'autres pays là, tapé, c'est même équipement qui mettez en dedans, c'est même focal point qui a fait manœuvre, assis c'est différents régimes. So là nous finissons, nous avons tout bagaille harmonise. C'est pas pour dire tout bité même bité, mais tout bité similaire. So c'est ça nous avons try faire avec nous continuer à faire quand autant amis moi dit là avec consultant là c'est pour un bagage qui est point force une fois nous n'est pour marcher en ça nous n'est pour be determined parce que vous savez European Union c'est pas une l'année ça fait pour venir so nous en Caribbean là nous avons fait même mouvement là et nous en l'eau confiance qui là nous finir avec ça. Moun à CARICOM là, ça enjoy travel, ça enjoy business, ça enjoy pleasure en région, en Caribbean.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Ni un bon week-end. Au revoir.
Coming up next, one reason why being a blood donor is actually good for you.
Real men protect children, not harm them. Under the Convention of the Rights of a child is anyone under the age of 18. And it's sexual abuse if you ask to see or touch their private parts, touch them inappropriately, show them or force them to touch your private parts, have sex with them, show them pornographic material, or deliberately let them hear or see the act of sex. Real men don't abuse children, and they don't encourage others to do it either. Be a real man. For more information, please contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Donating blood is good for the recipient, but there are also benefits to the donor. Your blood may flow better. Doctors say that if blood has a high viscosity or resistance to flow, it will flow like molasses. Repeated blood donations may help the blood flow in a way that's less damaging to the lining of your blood vessels and could result in fewer arterial blockages. That may explain why the American Journal of Epidemiology found that blood donors are 88% less likely to suffer a heart attack. This is just one reason to become a blood donor, but dozens exist in the addition to the main one, that you just may save a life. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter, GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscast on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Tasia Floissac. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.